To save Song Shi, I lost both my eyes. To give me a sense of security, he once swore publicly, Ran, even if you can't see, I will take care of you for a lifetime. I was deeply moved and kept quiet about my eyes gradually improving, secretly seeking treatment from doctors. But on the day I regained my sight, I saw Song Shi holding his childhood sweetheart, indulging in passion right beside me. Why is it lasting so long this time? Is it because you're doing it in front of your wife? Of course, these condoms were even bought by her before. I saw the sign language they were using and felt my blood run cold. Suppressing the nausea in my heart, I sent a message to the research team that had been inviting me for so long. I agreed to join them for scientific research. I would leave Song Shi and make him regret it deeply. After sending the message, Song Shi and Su Qingran were no longer in the living room. I thought they would show some restraint, but the next second, the bedroom echoed with the faint sounds of their lovemaking, along with Song Shi's call to me. Ran, my clothes are in the bag in the living room. Can you bring them to me? His tone was gentle and casual, but my newly restored vision clearly saw that the bag contained adult toys. Ran. Got it. I struggled to calm my churning emotions, picked up the bag, and pushed open the bedroom door. Underwear, outerwear, and condoms were scattered all over the floor. And on our bed, Su Qingran was wearing my pajamas, flirting with Song Shi. You're really something, making her bring things. Aren't you afraid I might make a sound on purpose and let her find out? Su Qingran joked in sign language. Song Shi paused while undressing. Don't let her find out. What if she does? Then I'll make you leave. Song Shi pinched her chin, his gaze dangerous. Song Shi's love for me was well known. He was clearly a rich young master, yet to take care of my blind self, he willingly confined himself to a small apartment for 2 years. Some people once advised him to stop caring for me, but Song Shi said, I love Ran. If I hear such words again, we're no longer brothers. But at this moment, looking at the scratches and lipstick marks left by his affair all over his body, a wave of nausea surged within me. I put down the bag and ran out. Ran, what's wrong? Outside the bedroom door, I leaned against the wall, dry heaving. Song Shi gently patted my back. I looked at his anxious expression and barely managed to say, I'm fine. Maybe I ate something bad. Song Shi helped me to the sofa, found me some medicine, and then left, claiming he needed to get something. I sat silently in the living room. I thought, if Song Shi really went to get medicine and confessed to me, I might try to forgive him. But 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes passed. Song Shi didn't come out. Instead, he went back into the bedroom. I knew the answer. Seeing no reply from him, I directly dialed a number. Is the research team you mentioned still looking for members? The person on the other end paused, then realizing who I was, immediately said excitedly, Are you coming, Tang Ran? That's great, but it's closed research, so you won't have much time to see family. I've thought it over. 3 days from now I'll join the team. Great. Thank you for your contribution to science. After hanging up, I looked at the apartment I'd shared with Song Shi for 2 years and felt an overwhelming sense of unfamiliarity. In the past, Song Shi's friends always said I was holding him back. Now, I'm giving him back his freedom. Song Shi and I started dating in college. Back then, I had a crush on him for years and pursued him relentlessly until I finally managed to win over this unattainable flower. 2 years ago, there was an accidental explosion in the lab building where Song Shi was. The fire was raging, and worried about his safety, I rushed to his floor without hesitation. Just as his lab was about to be hit by the blast, I pushed him out. But my eyes were contaminated by the toxic gases from the lab, and I could no longer see clearly. At that time, Song Shi, looking at my injured self, cried bitterly and swore he would do whatever it took to cure my eyes. He took me to countless doctors and specialists, even started a pharmaceutical company for me, but all in vain. Until 6 months ago, I received a notice from the hospital about a new treatment plan that might cure my eyes. But since the odds weren't high, I didn't tell Song Shi. I thought if the treatment succeeded, I'd surprise him. But instead of a surprise, I got a shock. At 11 p.m., Su Qingran was sent away by Song Shi. When I lay down on the bed, Song Shi had already changed the sheets. He showered and, as usual, climbed into bed, cuddling up to me. Wifey, you're so soft. Holding you is the best. I stared at the ceiling, my expression numb. Have you held other girls before? Song-shi paused, then chuckled. How could I? I'm devoted to you. How could I hold someone else? Devoted. Said so lightly. Song-shi loved sweet talk. When I couldn't see, there were times I needed help, and he'd get jealous, showing strong possessiveness. I was just asking for directions. No, Ranran has me. You don't need other men. I'll always be by your side. How hypocritical his affection was. Yet over those 2 years, his words often filled me with sweetness. At this moment, the scene repeated, but I only felt disgust. If he truly loved me, would he have used me as their amusement for 2 whole years? Song-shi buried his head in the crook of my neck. Ranran, I've picked out our wedding house. I've installed handrails for the blind. After we get married, we'll move there, okay? I looked at the red marks on his neck and said nothing. Instead, with a hint of malice, I nodded. Sure. After a while, we'll get married and move to the wedding house. Song-shi was overjoyed, holding me tighter and murmuring endlessly, I love you so much, wifey. I was lying to him. I had already submitted my application to rejoin the research team. In less than 3 days, I would completely disappear from Song-shi's life. I wanted him to taste the bitterness of being played. But more importantly, I wanted to find myself again. The next day, Song-shi, as usual, fed me breakfast with care. But beneath his surface gentleness, his phone buzzed constantly with flirtatious messages to Su Qingran. My eyes stung and it still hurt. After breakfast, he took me to the pharmaceutical company, the one he'd founded for me 2 years ago. He brought me there weekly, solely to treat my eyes. Along the way, he carefully supported me, treating me like a treasure, moving the medical staff. Mr. Song is so attentive to Miss Tang. I heard he gave up his research career for you and switched to pharmaceuticals. It shows how important Miss Tang is in Mr. Song's heart. No one can replace you. The doctor finished, and Song-shi smiled nonchalantly. I love Ranran. Doing anything for her is only natural. He spoke with such depth, but I stared fixedly at the hospital's logo beside us, too nauseated to speak. Ranran Pharmaceutical. It was Ranran, not Ranran. Whom it was truly created for was crystal clear. Song-shi left after sending me to the consultation room, but my nausea wouldn't stop churning. For 2 years, Song-shi, under the guise of loving me, gave up his research, his proudest profession, and even his friends whispered behind my back, calling me his burden. Song-shi's mother even morally blackmailed me, saying, You're blind, but Shi is fine. He gave up everything for you and started a pharmaceutical company. Do you really want him to be responsible for you for life? I loved Song-shi, so I silently endured all the disdain and insults. Whenever they belittled me and urged me to leave him, I'd retort with evidence of his love, leaving them speechless. But at this moment, looking at the clear text on the wall, I couldn't imagine how ridiculous I must have seemed when I argued back. I couldn't control the urge to vomit. Suddenly, I stood up and ran outside, but as soon as I left, I heard the sounds of intimacy from the next room. Why so many condoms? Can't use them with her, so might as well not waste them. TSK, you just wore me out last night, and now you're at it again. Every time you bring her for treatment, it's like this. I couldn't hear the rest. Like a routed deserter, I fled the hospital in disgrace. Downstairs, the cold wind howled. The real estate agent's call came timely. Miss Tang, you want to sell the house? I see you've marked it as urgent 3 days. Very urgent. Please help me sell it as soon as possible. I said firmly. It had only been a day since I regained my sight, yet my heart had already been thrown into chaos. I took a taxi home and quickly gathered all the documents I needed for the research team, achievements that were uniquely mine. In the past, I couldn't see and gave all this up for Song-shi without regret. Now, it only felt utterly absurd. 3. No sooner had I organized my documents than Song-shi rushed back, panicked. Ranran, where did you go? Do you know how worried I was? How could you come back alone? You scared me to death. Song-shi hugged me tightly, his voice trembling. He was genuinely frightened. I found it ironic but kept a calm face. I couldn't find you, so I tried taking a taxi back on my own. By the way, where did you go? There was a company issue, so I went upstairs. Did you look for me? Yeah, I didn't see you, so I came back on my own. I won't do it again. My expression was flat, but Song Shui looked uneasy. He wasn't sure if I'd overheard his sweet exchanges with Su Qingran. After all, they'd been quite loud. I pretended not to notice, and Song Shui was nervous all evening. But I said nothing. My love for him was well known, so if I discovered his affair, I'd surely make a scene. He observed me all night, and seeing no reaction, finally concluded I hadn't noticed. For the next 2 days, Song Shui's contact with Su Qingran noticeably decreased. He came home promptly after work every day, took me for walks after dinner, and spent evenings cuddling with me on the sofa, listening to TV programs. It felt like we'd returned to the time 2 years ago, right after I lost my sight. On the morning I was set to leave, Song Shui woke up early for once, just because I wanted his homemade breakfast. Watching him busy in the kitchen, I admit I wavered for a moment. After all, I had loved him deeply for years, giving up everything for him. Letting go completely would take time. I looked at him with complicated feelings when Song Shui's phone rang. The phone was next to me, so I clearly saw the message from Su Qingran. I'm pregnant. In an instant, the tiny warmth in my heart turned cold. Song Shui hurried out of the kitchen. The moment he saw the message, his expression changed. I stared at him intently, wanting to give him a chance to confess. If he told me the truth, I would also tell him I'd regained my sight. But he didn't. He lied, saying it was a company matter, and went back to the kitchen. Such decisiveness only made me feel more like a fool. Su Qingran showed up at the door looking upset. Whatever Song Shui said to her, she cried pitifully. Tell me the truth, have you fallen for Tang Ren? At first, you said you were just playing with her. Did you fall for her, just because she's blind? Su Qingran's expression crumbled, but Song Shui's face remained cold. I told you, I'll take responsibility for her. Responsibility for what? You don't even love her. If she finds out that on the day of the lab explosion 2 years ago, you weren't doing experiments but were with me, would she still love you like this? Watching their sign language, my mind buzzed. My fingers curled into the sofa, my blood ran cold. With Su Qingran, what did that mean? On the day of the lab explosion, they weren't doing experiments, they were having an affair? And I, ignoring all warnings, rushed in for him, got injured for nothing, was called a burden, and wallowed in self-righteous love for 2 years. Song Shui's face finally showed a crack. His expression shifted, and ultimately, as if yielding to Su Qingran, he walked back to the sofa and gently spoke to me. Ran, there's a sudden issue at the company. I need to go out for a while. I'll be back late. As he spoke, he placed his hand on my head, gently stroking it. I looked at his seemingly affectionate demeanor and wanted nothing more than to slap him. But I held back, suppressing the trembling in my hands, and shook my head. I'm fine. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. I watched Song Shui and Su Qingran leave, then packed my luggage and met with a real estate agent. Throw away anything related to me. As for his things, here's his number. You can contact Song Shui directly. Then I discarded my SIM card, blocked all of Song Shui's contact methods, and boarded a flight to Haicheng. Before takeoff, I looked in the direction of Song Shui and smiled bitterly. Song Shui were truly over. Shortly after boarding, Song Shui received a message from the agent asking how to handle the items after selling the house. At first, Song Shui thought it was spam or a prank, until he took Su Qingran to the hospital for further tests and ran into my attending physician. Mr. Song, long time no see. How's Tang Ren? I haven't seen her in 3 days. She should come for a follow-up since she just recovered. Recovered from what? Song Shui paused mid-step. The doctor's words echoed in his ears. Her eyesight, of course. 3 days ago, she regained her sight through our new treatment plan. She still needs regular checkups. Didn't she tell you? The moment the doctor finished, Song Shui's face turned deathly pale. The research team was based in Beijing, a 3.5-hour flight from Haicheng. For 2 years, due to my blindness, I'd never been more than half an hour away from Song Shui. Now, stepping off the plane and breathing in Beijing's air, I felt no sadness, only an unprecedented sense of relief. Picking me up was Teacher Chen from the team, a former professor at a university and my mentor. Welcome back, Tang Ren. Teacher Chen hugged me. 2 years had passed, and he too had aged. Feeling his emotion, my eyes stung. Hello, teacher. I'm so glad you're back. I wanted to invite you to join the team 2 years ago, but unfortunately, I'm sorry for disappointing you. It won't happen again. I was ashamed. Didn't Xiao Song come to see you off? Teacher Chen glanced behind me. My expression cooled. We broke up. Teacher Chen was surprised, given how well known my pursuit of Song Shui was at a university. Back then, I'd rejected numerous opportunities for overseas research because of him, disappointing my teachers repeatedly. Classmates gossiped behind my back, not moved by my so-called love but disdainful of my simping. At the time, I didn't care. Now it seemed laughable. Good! Breaking up is good. I never thought Xiao Song was right for you. You're a rising star meant to shine in the research world. A man who makes you give up your own worth to accommodate him isn't worth keeping. Teacher Chen was wiser than me. He then turned to a colleague and said, Tell them not to leave a spot for Song Shui. Don't let him bother us. Teacher Chen told me that shortly after I boarded the plane, Song Shui had called him. Because I hadn't taken anything, and my social circle was simple, it was obvious where I'd go. Most of the people here doing research with Teacher Chen were old classmates and friends, so I fit in quickly. But I underestimated Song Shui's persistence. That evening, his call reached my roommate. After several failed attempts to hang up, I took the phone. It was a video call from Song Shui. In just one day, he looked haggard. Ran, your eyes, have they healed? His voice was hoarse. I curled my lips, not hiding my sarcasm. Yeah, right when you brought Su Qingren home and got busy, I just recovered. I saw it all very clearly. As I spoke, Song Shui's lips turned white. He opened his mouth, his voice dry. Ran, why didn't you tell me? I wanted to surprise you, but you gave me a bigger surprise instead. 2 years, Song Shui. You always said you loved me, but it turns out you had me delivering sex toys for you and your mistress. No, Ran, I really love you. It was just a moment of weakness, a slip into bed. That's what you're going to say, right? Song Shui, do you still think I'm a fool? Song Shui was speechless, but I didn't spare him. But I really am an idiot. When the lab exploded, I rushed in to save you no matter what, while you were fooling around with Su Qingren. Song Shui, was it fun playing me? Our relationship shouldn't have existed from the start. Strangely, I thought I'd feel pain when I finally laid everything bare and confronted Song Shui. But when the words left my mouth, I realized there was no emotion left. Years of feelings had completely dissolved the moment I discovered his affair with Su Qingren. Ran, can you give me a chance to explain? I truly love you. I admit, at first, I was just playing around, but these past few years, my feelings for you have been real. Song Shui tried to defend himself, but I coldly cut him off. Song Shui, your real feelings are so cheap, so disgusting. Song Shui, stop looking for me. We're over. No, if I don't say it's over, it's not over. Ran, you were the one who pursued me relentlessly, remember? Can you really let me go? Impossible. You're just angry. You can't live without me. He said it with such certainty. I didn't reply. Instead, I smiled bitterly as his words hung in the air. Then, ignoring his suddenly changing expression, I left him with, try me, and hung up. I called Teacher Chen to apologize, and after that, no one else in the lab received harassing calls from Song Shui. The next day, Teacher Chen took me to the research lab. Returning to a familiar environment, I felt a thrill of excitement. Tang Ran, it's the same as before. We're focused on pharmaceutical research, specifically cell regeneration, giving severely damaged, irreparable cells a chance to recover. Tang Ran, we're all thrilled to have you back. Teacher Chen extended his hand, and I, trembling with excitement, shook it firmly. It's an honor to work with everyone. Luckily, the team's research aligned with what I'd studied in school. I quickly got up to speed, even becoming a core member and helping the team achieve significant breakthroughs. It felt like I'd rediscovered my original purpose. A year passed in the blink of an eye, and I almost forgot about Song Shui, immersing myself entirely in research. Finally, we succeeded in developing a drug that could restore sight to those blinded by severe trauma. After months of trials, Teacher Chen called to tell me, Tang Ran, all the patients in the trial have regained their sight. The moment he finished, I couldn't hold back my tears. Chun Ming, my teammate, came over to comfort me. I shook my head. I'm fine. I'm just crying from happiness. Because I knew all too well the despair of falling into darkness after losing one's sight. Once, I was trapped in self-doubt, pinning my hopes on Song Shi to develop a regenerative drug for me, but it never came. But today, I had developed it myself. I believed this drug would help countless others rediscover the light in their hearts. At the launch summit for the new drug, Teacher Chen brought Chen Ming and me along. It was the first time in over a year that I saw Song Shi again. He had changed significantly, haggard, thinner, and though still dressed impeccably, he'd lost his former vitality and looked dejected. Ran, is that you? Song Shi's dull eyes lit up the moment he saw me. He hurried over, his joy unmistakable. Ran, I finally found you. I was wrong. Please come back. I'll never let you leave me again. He hugged me, enveloping me in a long-lost embrace. But looking at this man I once loved most, I felt nothing. I pushed him away. Song Shi, we broke up a long time ago. I never agreed, so it doesn't count, he said urgently, his eyes bloodshot. Seeing him like this, I smiled bitterly. You didn't agree? Then what about Su Qingran? What about the child in her belly? At my words, Song Shi looked as though he'd been struck by lightning. He hadn't expected me to know so much. Guilt flickered in his eyes, but he still stubbornly insisted. Ran, I've cut ties with her. The child is gone. I admit, at first, I didn't have much true feeling for you, but through those 2 years together, I fell in love with you. You can't condemn me to death just because of one mistake after I've come to love you. Ran, give me another chance. Let me make it up to you tenfold, okay? He spoke with such depth, but I firmly shook my head. No. Now, I have my own career, my own achievements. I'm incredibly grateful I didn't waver back then. Otherwise, I'd regret it forever. Song Shi, one wrong decision is enough. I don't want to repeat it, to be played for a fool again. With that, ignoring his suddenly ashen face, I turned to leave. Chen Ming, who knew my story, couldn't help but click his tongue. Too little, too late. Now you know regret. Where was this before? He muttered before following me out. Since we hadn't finalized several pharmaceutical collaborations, the team didn't immediately return to base, but stayed at the hotel for a few more days. Song Shi was staying in the same suite floor as me. Every day when I left my room, I'd see him staring at me. He always seemed on the verge of speaking, but I never gave him the chance. Friends from Haiqing told me that Song Shi had spent a fortune to buy back the small apartment and still live there. He'd cut ties with Su Qingran and his so-called friends. He closed the pharmaceutical company and started a charity instead, naming it Ran Charity. I smirked when I heard this. He'd played the role so long, he'd started believing it himself. I ignored his so-called devotion. There were things more important than love waiting for me. On the last day, to avoid Song Shi, I finished work early and prepared to take a taxi. But just as I pulled out my phone to open the app, a familiar voice called out, Tang Ran. It was Su Qingran. I looked up and saw her gaunt face. She changed, so much I almost didn't recognize her. But Su Qingran was agitated. So it is you, Tang Ran. You've ruined me. Give me back my child. Su Qingran suddenly lunged at me like a madwoman. Before I could react, she'd knocked me to the ground. Have you lost your mind? I snapped, but Su Qingran acted as if she couldn't hear. She straddled me, her eyes wild. Yeah, I've lost it. If it weren't for you, Song Shi would have been with me. It's all your fault. You guilt-tripped him into staying with you, then played hard to get by running off, making him abort our child. Now my body is ruined, my uterus removed. I'll never bear children. Are you happy now? Su Qingran finished and I froze. I knew she'd lost the child but hadn't expected this. Frowning, I tried to push her off. Calm down first. How can I calm down? Tang Ran. Weren't you so self-sacrificing? If you wanted to be blind for him, why not stay blind forever? You should have lived in darkness forever, as the tool for me and Song Shi's amusement. With that, she pulled a knife from her bag. The glint of steel sent my heart sinking. I tried to push her away, but her hatred was so intense, her strength overwhelming, I couldn't budge her. Just as despair set in, Chen Ming arrived in time and kicked Su Qingran off me. He held me protectively, and I felt the relief of a narrow escape. It's okay. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Chun Ming comforted me, patting my back soothingly. As he spoke, Song Shi appeared. Seeing me in Chun Ming's arms, his face darkened. What are you doing? He rushed over, trying to pull me from Chun Ming's embrace, only to be punched to the ground. You've got some nerve. Your little lover nearly stabbed Tang Ran with a knife. If it weren't for your messy entanglements, Tang Ran wouldn't be in danger. Chun Ming sneered. Song Shi froze, looking at Su Qingran. Then, with utter disgust, he said, Didn't I make it clear I don't love you? How much more do you need to cling to me? Song Shi, I don't believe you. You said you loved being with me. How can you not love me? Su Qingran's eyes flashed with madness. Song Shi didn't notice, instead looking utterly repulsed. It was just physical. How could I ever truly be with someone like you? I've already compensated you. Stop harassing me. With that, he walked toward me. Song Shi, since you love her so much, go be with her. Su Qingran, now completely unhinged, lunged at Song Shi with the knife. He dodged quickly but was still slashed across the eyes. Ah! A scream of pain rang out as blood streamed down Song Shi's once handsome face. Su Qingran tried to come for me next, but Chun Ming subdued her. I called the police and an ambulance. Song Shi was taken to the hospital. His eye injuries were severe, but with timely treatment, there was hope for recovery. When that might happen, though, depended on the success of my earlier research. Su Qingran was sentenced to 5 years. On the day of the verdict, Song Shi didn't show. She begged to see him one last time but was flatly refused. He'd never truly loved her, and now, blinded by her, he probably wished he could strangle her himself. At the courthouse, Su Qingran collapsed, her face blank, then burst into sobs, still dazed as she was led away to prison. Meanwhile, my research hadn't yet entered full clinical trials, so his attending physician consulted me for days. I visited Song Shi in the hospital, unsure what I felt. Watching him grope blindly for his cane, watching him startle at sudden sounds, it reminded me of myself over those 2 years. But unlike him, at least during that time, his lies had given me a strange sense of purpose. Seeing him fail to find his cane 3 times in a row, I finally stepped in and handed it to him. Here! Hearing my voice, Song Shi lit up. Ran, is that you? You came to see me. You finally agreed to see me. He scrambled to his feet in panic, but because he was on the edge of the bed, he nearly fell, and I had to steady him. His hand gripped my wrist tightly. Ran, please don't leave me again. I finally understand how you felt. I know I can regain my sight. I'm not asking you to take care of me, but can you promise to give me a chance? A chance to start over once my eyes heal? I know I was wrong. I truly know now. Song Shi was rambling, desperate. I stayed silent. After a long pause, just as he began to hope I might acquiesce, I spoke. Song Shi, we ended a long time ago. There's no need to start over. Why, Ran? We were truly together for 2 years. 2 years of being by each other's side. Before he could finish, I cut him off. Song Shi, I gave up my studies, my career, even my sight, just to stay by your side. But now I've realized I shouldn't lose myself for a man. I have my own value to fulfill. I'll continue my research and help more people. So Song Shi, what's past is past. There's no future for us. With that, I walked away without looking back. Song Shi underwent 2 years of treatment. His eye injuries were more severe than mine, so the process wasn't easy. During those 2 years, I followed the team and achieved new milestones in pharmaceutical science. Compared to 3 years ago, I felt like a completely different person. On the day of our latest breakthrough, Chun Ming proposed to me in the lab. He knelt before me, holding flowers. Ran, I like you. I know you've been hurt before, but trust me, I'll love you well. I won't trap you in a small world. We'll walk side by side. Let me accompany you for the rest of our lives. Will you give me this chance? Chun Ming's tone was sincere. We'd been together for nearly 2 years. He was the complete opposite of Song Shi, no sweet talk, but always there when I faced difficulties, helping me overcome them. Quietly and persistently, he'd woven himself into every part of my life. Seeing his nervousness, I suddenly smiled, took the flowers, and let him slip the ring onto my finger. I do. On our wedding day, the sun shone brightly. There were many people, and perhaps it was my imagination, but I thought I glimpsed Song Shi. His eyes had long since healed. This was the first time I'd seen him since that hospital visit. He'd changed again, thinner, more subdued, but also more lifeless. Over the years, people had occasionally mentioned him to me, but I felt nothing. The moment our eyes met, it seemed he wanted to speak. But just as quickly I looked away. Now I have a new life. The past no longer matters.